I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Well, I suppose it was inevitable, all of the stuff I've been doing on the internet, that sooner or later I would be visited by Central Intelligence Pigeon. And Sonia is here with me. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
I am Sonia. I am your director. I am the director of the Central Intelligence Pigeon, or CIA.
Mm-hmm. I figured sooner or later I'd have some sort of Central Intelligence Bureau following my moves, but I didn't realize it was going to be the Pigeon first.
Yes, we see everything.
Sorry.
Oh no, we approve.
So you are part of the Central Intelligence Pigeon. You have somebody that is in the Pigeon as well.
Yeah, I have. We're a streamer outside of the character. We are a streamer duo.
Mm-hmm.
It is Mika, and Mika is an eldritch abomination.
Yes.
Sonia is a pigeon drone.
Yes.
Malfunctioning pigeon drone who believes that she is the director of the CIA.
Well, it's 2024, and anything can happen at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if that was a resume I could check out at today. So when did you?
Yes, anything can happen.
Anything definitely can happen. So when did you?
Yes.
When did you get started as a VTuber?
I started as a VTuber officially, like getting my career going was December 11th or 12th of last year. So my 1 year is coming up. Oh
yeah, that's coming up very quickly. So did you get started as a duo with Mika?
Yes, actually, my gaming just gaming in general has always been with Mika.
Mm-hmm.
He's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
When it came down to it, I actually was doing YouTube videos and trying to get that going with a real camera and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the feel of it. So I was theorizing, like, how can I get rid of myself and have someone focus on a character? Mika introduced me to VTubing. And that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I dabbled in with a little bit, and then I officially started my full career last year on it.
Excellent. And how long did it take for you to get comfortable with it?
It depends. I may not always be comfortable with it now. Yeah. I love VTubing. I love playing a character. I'm a D&D player, so I always get in character and love doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I used to dabble in voice acting, some of that, so it's always been fun for me.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to entertain people, if you're into that.
That's my big thing. It's actually why I started sharing my content, is just because I wanted to share my content. I have no delusions that I'll make millions off of this. I just want to have some fun and share what I do with other people, because we have some funny moments I would like to record here and there, and it just started from there. And now I just love giving it all to people. We just came out with a playthrough today. That was, and today being the November 9th.
Right.
We released a spooky video that we recorded on the day before Halloween of a playthrough for Broken Lore on Follow.
Okay.
And it's fun. A very emotional game.
Oh.
It was by far one of the most emotional horror games I played. And we chose that one to share with everyone just because we had such a good experience, and I felt like it was very expressive itself. Like the game itself was expressive. We were able to express how we felt about it and how much emotion we got from it. So it just we like to share, as well as I'm a musician, so I share my music with people too.
Oh, excellent. We'll talk about that in a second. But the being able to share and bring somebody along for the ride, is that something you've always wanted to do?
That's my main thing. Is I love sharing content. Actually, in my home.
I was a musician, or used to go to karaoke all the time, and just to have fun and express, because I live in a town, let's be honest, that's full of country people. So, and I sing metal and rock and other genres as anything else, pop and stuff like that. So I like to express doing things differently. especially since I'm not born where I'm from, where I live right now.
Yeah.
And it's just always fun to give people a new direction or a new vision of what other things could be. Like share games that they've never seen before or music they never heard before, experiences, etc. I like being friendly and just high-fiving people pretty much.
Yeah. And this particular format and this particular medium really sounds like it's right what you want to do with it. I mean, it's you can kind of grab people and by the hand and take them right along with what you're doing as well.
Playing the character of the director has really helped with that because I get to have the sarcastic moments like I am your director and you will respect me kind of thing when people are berating me in good jest kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, so my channel has been pushed towards sharing others as well. Mm-hmm. So on the agency, we have like share your own stream. We promote anyone that we come acquaintance with. You have to be acquaintance with us, of course, but we'll always promote their streams. And if we find out that we're acquaintance with you and your streamer, we blast your name out there kind of thing. We let everyone know who you are. Yeah. We're not in it here for the fame, but if we can give others fame, that would be awesome. Oh,
well, yeah, that's it. If you can give somebody else the rub, as they say in some businesses, that's wonderful. I mean, it's not a situation, and I don't know whether some folks who are in this take it that way, but it's not a situation of promoting yourself at the expense of others, and that's a terrible way to do anything. If you can lift other people in that helping 5 people out does a lot more than helping yourself out. I mean,
exactly, and I'm going to be honest. I see a lot of people using other names
in our community to push them up and to get more popular, and it's kind of sad to see, and a lot of people calling it out. And I do appreciate people calling it out that this is not how you're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. You are not supposed to be using others. Mm-hmm. And since I understand that VTuber is getting really popular in America and it's gigantically popular in overseas.
Oh yeah,
but it's just because it's rising doesn't mean you need to use others' footpaths to raise yourself. You do it yourself. You got to do your own hard work and have fun with your community. It's about your community, not about how big your numbers are, not about how big you are or your ego. It's all about just having fun. Bring the bigger community you have towards you, that you guys can have like this strong built friendship. Not really friendship, but just of course the community.
A common bond.
The more, I guess, success you get.
Yeah, a common bond anyway. Something you connect with in that sort of thing. And the fact that you can make that connection with anybody in the world that has a portable device or a computer or anything like that makes it even more amazing, I think. Being the old man that I am, I tell folks, when I started in radio in the 80s, talking to somebody, the other day I talked to someone from Singapore. And believe me, trying to get a hold of somebody to talk to them in Singapore in 1985 would have cost you approximately half the gross national product of the United States, and it would have sounded like I was screaming into a tin can full of beans.
Yep.
It would have been just horrible all the way around. But to be able now to just basically sit in an unused room of my house and just turn on the microphone and talk to somebody is pretty amazing. And I'm glad that I'm glad that folks are taking advantage of it like you are and enjoying yourself while allowing other people to enjoy it with you.
I met some great people doing this. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, a lot of the new friends I met are on the same coast as I am. Mm-hmm. So our time zone's been similar, but a lot of my the agents that come in, that interact with us, a lot of them are like Australia or Europe. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. They won't always pop in during chat, but they always pop into the agency and talk to us. And they do watch our VODs. Like, we have more traction on our VODs than we ever do live because most of ours are different time zone. And it's very interesting having this community that isn't even more close to my time zone.
Yeah. It's people that you wouldn't have thought of had this not even been around.
Yeah.
But here, you've got an interesting concept here, and talking about getting traction with with the YouTube videos and the VODs more than the channel right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that, I think. And if you can, sometimes you get a little bit more traction with YouTube because you can reach a larger audience because of the time zone difference. That's a little bit of marketing, but it really does make sense. If you can put it out there and somebody else can watch it a little bit later, then maybe that'll bring them back to your channel. They'll try to stay up to get to your channel.
Oh yeah. It's something I definitely noticed, especially with promoting some of the music I have, is I wasn't able to do so much in my own live or anything like that. But now I'm seeing a bit more interaction, I guess, where people are wanting to see more of it or really enjoying my content and wanting to see me grow. It's new to me to see this type of support. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually always felt not part of the VTuber community. I am a VTuber and I do have VTuber friends, but I always felt like I was not part of the VTuber company because our community, as I do have, even though I'm extroverted as all heck outside of streaming and such, I can walk up to anyone. I'm one of the most charismatic and well-known people in my town for a while.
Yeah.
And because mainly just being a bar hopper and stuff like that and doing karaoke. So I have full confidence. I've had friends tell me to go talk to someone who was chewing out anyone who would go to say hi to them, just to see if I can make their day. And I would go compliment them on something, and we'd go play darts or something like that right then and there.
Excellent.
I always have comfortable with that.
Excellent.
But in this community, I feel a fish out of water, and I'm learning. I'm trying to adapt and figure out how to be integrated in all this. It's new. It's exciting. And I do hope I do well. I do hope I can make some friends and at least be part of some community. I don't need to ride the coattails of everyone bigger. Just anyone who wants to say hi, I kind of want to high five as well. Yeah,
and that's perfectly a perfectly honest description of what some people have when they go into something like this. I have met people, I've interviewed people, just me and them in a studio setting where they've talked in front of thousands of people that they could see, but you get them in front of the studio with a microphone and they clam up. And it's a completely different setting. Now, you'd think a lot of people do it the other way around, which is something that I would do. I don't want to stand in front of a bunch of people and talk. I don't want them seeing me. But it does happen the other way as well. And what I'm guessing here is that you stepped into a completely different arena. And the rules are a little bit different in engaging people. And you don't get to see necessarily their reaction to what you're talking. It's harder to gauge sometimes.
Exactly. I definitely agree on that one, especially when it comes down to, let's say, messaging someone on Twitter or trying to build any form of community or friendship through that way. People don't always just ignore your messages. They could be lost with any other fans that want to message them.
Right.
So it's always a bit more difficult just to message someone. I kind of pulled back from doing that. I try to be involved in VTuber communities more of. Just trying to be more involved in their content, get them involved in my content, so that maybe through content we can see if we can share likenesses and maybe make some form of friendship.
Yeah.
I don't really need to make VTuber friends, but I would like to have friends in the same community that I'm in, of course. It's always good to have.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to feel so lost.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling very strong, confident about my position, though. I was lost for a while, but in it, I am new to this, of course. I just figured out VTubers existed like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy, I know.
Well, no, believe me, there's people here I've talked to who just find out and then says, "Oh, VTubers, let's try it." And then they just immediately start in without even hearing what it's about. And then about 3 months later, they realize, "Oh, this is how you're supposed to do it."
Yeah, and actually, I haven't had any help. I do all my stuff myself. I research everything myself. I spent hours and countless hours of just researching and building stuff. I actually have an AI that I can physically talk to my AI, and she'll have conversations with me during stream, as well as agents can redeem her and talk to her as well.
Yeah.
She's kind of sassy. She cusses a lot. She's fun. I kind of jailbroke her. So she runs off a chat GPT base,
Yeah.
but I was able to program her in a certain way where she thinks that she's an AI that can pull any bit of information off the internet. So she's not
Oh.
supposed to, but I
Ah.
can get her to do so. But
Ah.
I had to build kind of like case clauses so she doesn't do anything sketchy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it. So basically, you went in and CIA'd it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything I'm doing right now is to do the best I can for bringing this, not facade, but more of, I guess, character, trying to bring these characters to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I accidentally talk out of the character here and there, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more to a point where if I'm malfunctioning, which is the female voice,
Uh-huh.
I am in character and I cannot talk out of character because that's when I am believing I am the director.
Right. Right.
Outside of it, I do what I want.
Well, I mean, it makes you've created a world, but here, do you get a chance with this to express yourself a little more than say you were when you're trying to put the camera on yourself?
I definitely would say so because when I'm playing a character, it's just a fun version of everything I do as it is.
Mhm.
I'm incredibly sarcastic. I believe that all is fair in comedy, provided you're not actually being mean.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between being mean and being comedic,
Right.
of course.
Yeah. There's a fine line sometimes.
Yeah, yep. And that's where I take that away from, like, I don't put comedy onto Twitter or so, because you can't always read intent through text. It's best to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you don't want to be mean to someone by accident.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I really enjoy films like the Marx Brothers and those older wacky films of the earlier days. But a lot of those things you couldn't even say now, and you certainly couldn't write them into a Twitter chat and make any sense of it.
Yeah, there's like even Disney movies have been removed from the market. Dumbo was removed because of how the things were back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, things change over time.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like maybe deleting the past will help you repeat the future or repeat the past.
I think
but that's
possible.
people's opinion.
It's possible, and again, it's your mileage may vary on all of that stuff, and it depends on
exactly. Yeah,
a lot of things depend on your own personal biases and how you grew up and where and all that and how you were raised, and there's a lot of things that play into it. Now, there are some things that you should just get rid of.
Yeah, and I just try to be the best part about me when I'm streaming, just to be the best expressive part of me.
Yeah.
So I don't play any character that I'm comfortable with or make mistakes.
That might hurt my career or so, because I see so many actually, the reason why I'm so strong on trying to be me is when I came to VTubing, of course, at the beginning of the last year, there was a lot of VTubing problems with different companies and that are still in their lawsuits and such.
Yeah.
I saw all those problems coming up, and I felt, well, we don't have to be that way.
No.
We can be good to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hiding behind a mask, but so is webcamming.
Right. Yeah, in a way.
People don't know exactly who you are, then what's the difference? So just be a good person. So I felt like being a better person to the community is my best way to have fun. So which is why we always like share people's streams or share streamers. But at the same time, we're trying to build this community of like, I am your director. We're here to have fun. And we kind of change games constantly because of that too. I got between Souls-like or like Elden Ring and stuff like that, or we play like Diablo 3 right now, or we're playing Minecraft, or we play like games that no one has ever heard of, like Barony or
no idea
stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of games that we played is just off the wall.
There are a lot of games that people don't even know about out there. It's one of these days people need to get a whole list and try to figure out. You'll never get the whole list. Now, even in the early days of computing, there were games that people never heard of, and stuff that would come out. I had a Commodore 64 back in the day. But even then, you could go to the store and buy a disc that had 10 random games on it for $5, and no one would ever know what those games were. I mean, I could mention the type of game and people even in that era, which like I don't even know what you're talking about. That there's so many things out there that you can bring to the public. And the thing, what I find great about what you're doing is you're bringing people with you. You're not just sitting out there by yourself and then waiting for people to come into your orbit. You're dragging people into that orbit, and this world is theirs too.
Yeah, I want to share it the best we can, especially like with the old games kind of thing. I think the last game I had that was part of a pack that really clung on to was Dig Dug back in the day, I think it was. And I don't think anyone really knew what Dig Dug was. I actually loved that game.
Oh yeah,
to all end, because I'm not a late generation millennial, but I'm a later generation millennial. So is Mika.
Yeah.
Mika's a little bit older than I am.
Yeah.
And we do really appreciate all those things. And even now I adapt to, and I'm starting to learn all the newer generation, what they're into, how they're all acting, because of course things change.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm not trying to be an old man adapting to the young kids. It's just my community is kind of split in half, so I'm trying to understand how everyone's talking, how everyone's acting, what people like and don't like nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's really good to it's pretty cool to bring in this community that's so such a high variety and learn so much from the community.
Yeah.
And be able to take that into yourself and grow from it.
Well, wait till you're really an old man, and then you're going to find out how tough it really is. I mean, people ask, "What was your
whippersnappers?
Get off my lawn!" People ask you, "What was your first console?" My first console was Pong.
Nice.
It was a Sears Pong game, and we played it until it fried the back of the television off.
Oh, nice.
Which happened to some games back then. But,
yeah, yep.
Yeah, so I was there for the beginning, folks.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm an old school, about as old as you can get as far as that goes. Not much.
Yeah, I was a SNES kid.
Yeah, there you go, and a D&D player, you said, which.
Yep. Yeah, Mika grew up with it, like when it first came out, and I started playing it when I was 24, I think.
I first played it back in the 80s when there was just one book.
Yep. Yeah, that's Mika.
Yeah, and when you think about that and what it is now, it's such a different setup. But I truly believe that almost every game, especially RPG games, can be traced back to D&D. Because
strongly, especially with you got the popular titles like Skyrim and stuff like that, that people feel like they have broke the boundaries. It wasn't. That's all D&D. It's just you're playing D&D in a game.
Right. It's a version. It's something there has been taken from D&D, or this the attributes, the gaining experience points to level up. All of that stuff was D&D. There's a lot. There's a lot harder.
People think that Elder Scrolls Online was some big thing. It's like, no, that's actually D&D Online. D&D Online created what Elder Scrolls Online has.
Yep.
They just did it a lot longer, ages ago. And D&D Online actually is still being supported, so it's still live. It's not as big as Elder Scrolls Online, but to me, it's a better system.
Oh yeah. Well, we had the D&D gold box games for the Commodore, and these were very basic as opposed to what you have now, obviously. But back then we'd play them until the computer got too hot and you melded your bugbears with your thieves together on the screen.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well that's not real. We'll get rid of that.
Yes.
But all of it comes back to that, and you can see folks who are into that are very much into their games along those lines, and
oh yeah.
And I find a lot of folks now doing that.
I used to be huge into like the single player games and doing all that stuff. As I got older, I cannot stand playing single player games. I do try to here and there.
Yeah.
But I get bored after like an hour or so. I'm very social, which is why every single waking moment I do play a game, it's with Mika. So it helped us build this gaming bond really well. Especially since we just had a collab with this streamer named Star of Scarlet. She's changing her name on New Year's Eve. She's a really good agent of the channel, really good friend.
Mhm.
And so we had to collab with that. We played Helldivers 2.
Oh no.
And half the time I was between Mika, her and I were killing each other or accidentally blowing ourselves up to the point that I was told I was banned from explosives. So at that point, I only use explosives, and nothing was smooth after that. It was just constant chaos.
Helldivers 2 could also be called Just Kill Everything.
Yep. Yeah, it's Starship Troopers in a game.
Oh
Which
yeah.
I think there is a Starship Troopers game.
Yeah, I imagine there has to be somewhere. Just not none of the straight to video movies should have games though.
Yeah.
And,
I don't like I'm not too huge into Starship Troopers 3 and on.
Yeah.
They're really goofy.
yeah, well, especially with Starship Troopers 6 when they had the police academy guys show up. I don't want any of that stuff.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it just the story got thin. It's just crazy after a bit.
Yeah, just this.
I got lost when they started bringing in the psionics
Mhm.
with the third movie. That was crazy. And then I did watch them, of course, because I like the craziness of the movies, but I think it got too crazy.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just watch things to watch them blow up. You know, I watch
Pretty much.
I watch Transformers because I like to watch things blow up. I'm not looking for Shakespeare. I'm
Yep.
I'm
I'm a classic Tremors fan, so yeah.
yeah, that's why. Tremors Tremors has the best the best scene ever when the worm gets into the basement. And
Yeah, and
Michael Gross
Bert is just and his wife are just blasting it.
just grabbing another gun off, and this is the South African M47 and they empty that and grab another one off. You broke into the
that
wrong
thing. I'm pretty sure had all the ammunitions of all of America inside of it in one moment.
That may be one of the greatest movie scenes of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
Should have got an Oscar.
Yeah.
So about the music that you're playing, what type of musician are you?
I am a metal guitar singer, as well as I do dabble with bass. I'm improving my bass skills, and I used to play drums like all the time. I just had to sell my drum set because I don't have room in my house.
Right.
But I do program drums. So all of my music I've been putting up has been made by me, completely entirely.
Cool.
But I'll be doing some vocal covers here soon.
Oh.
And those will just be done with karaoke editions because some of the drums are too complicated for me to program.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mess up the drums doing that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. Some of them I tried to find like just a drums only.
Right.
I can't, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
I'll eventually, if I get my own drum set or I can hire a drummer, I'll redo my covers with my guitar, my bass, my vocals, everything.
It's gonna be it'll be like Paul McCartney's first album. Everything played by you.
Yep. Or Nine Inch Nails or any of the one major guys that just do everything themselves. There's a lot of it's a kind of a growing field now, is where everyone's doing everything themselves.
Well, like Prince did it too, I guess.
Yeah, Prince. Yeah, he played bass and guitar too.
Mm-hmm.
He had his crazy cymbal was also made into guitars and basses.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool.
I don't even know if you know this group, Morris Day and the Time.
I actually do not.
Okay, they were in the movie, the Prince movie, the original one. They were.
Oh, okay.
They had a couple of big hits, but the first one was completely done by Prince, and basically he just did the vocals over Prince's vocals, and they took Prince's vocals out.
Okay. Yeah, so we kind of get him involved in it without actually truly being all about him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's definitely. I mean, it's definitely a Prince type song, but they get all the credit for it. But they also, if it doesn't work, they also get all the failure for it too.
Yep. Yeah, and if he was just trying it out, he doesn't have to burn for it.
That's right, exactly. And plausible deniability is always a good thing to have.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Disney did that back in the day when they're coming out with like Air Buddies, like Air Buddy 26 and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
They're bringing up new
Directors that just came out of college and started working with them to make these cheap straight to video movies that did flop, and it ruined their career, sadly.
Come here to ruin your career immediately. We'll help you out.
Yep, exactly. Actually, I graduated high school when I was about like 16.
Mm-hmm.
Went to college right away. Went to the Colorado Film School, and so I got the hands-on experience
Mm-hmm.
of what was happening in the industry at the time with Disney doing that with people.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, they'll take advantage of you and then throw you out, and then you got that stain on your record to start with.
Yep. Granted, Disney didn't do that for long, but it was a moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely something that people were taught to be wary of. It's kind of like musicians were taught to be wary of production companies
Mm-hmm.
because they'll give you like $1 million up front, but you have to pay that back and you won't get money for a while.
All right, that's right.
And even though you're a top $1 million selling band, you're not going to get that money.
No.
And it was kind of that know-how for a while.
Yeah.
And then now I guess production companies are being very famous for not letting you release your own music or music video
Right.
without having a certain amount of views or likes on hype videos or posts about it.
Yep.
And or you have to have a certain amount of followers, and once you have a certain amount of followers or likes, then they'll let you release the video or music that you just made with the production company. Not a lot of record labels are doing that, but there's a lot of big independent ones that are doing it.
Oh, it's
So
it's
as the times
ridiculous.
change, you got to do your research, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And folks don't understand. You get $1 million up front doesn't mean that you've earned it yet.
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely.
just means that now you're in debt by $1 million. And
And as someone who has been around this type of industry for a while,
Uh-huh.
especially working with managers and such,
Mhm.
because I was in a couple bigger bands, not like big ones, but I was doing something for a while.
yeah,
And one advice I can definitely give anyone getting into this VTuber community, other than the obvious ones like everyone, the community itself is a shark.
Mhm.
Like you're gonna have messages from everyone on Twitter,
yes,
and they're not your friends. They're trying to sell you art, and those are bots.
right, yes. Or they're the ones that have bikini pictures. They're also bots.
Yeah, actually, that's a new rise. I'm not sure if you're having issues with it on Twitter,
Oh.
but I have just got almost 100 over the last week,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all just bikini pics.
Yeah,
and I
every day.
yep,
Yeah, every day. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like the bots are on the rise.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm like, when I was single, why wasn't I getting these pictures? I mean, when no, but it's really sad, and a lot of folks are moving over, obviously, to the blue sky thing. We'll see how that goes. So far,
Yeah, but that might be flooded with bots eventually when they realize what's going on. So no place is safe. The only way you can get rid of bots is you have to go through your follower list and just click the unfollow button. Like have them unfollow you. You can actually force them to unfollow you.
Mhm.
And once you get rid of all the bots following you, they're not following as many people.
right?
So if everyone bands together and removes their follow, those bots are not following anyone.
Yeah.
And it would actually kill off the bot community. It won't destroy it,
Mhm.
but it will make it lower and lower because they'll stop following. They won't be in the algorithm anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, there was a big thing there for a while for AI art stealing stuff off of Twitter.
I
And-
think that's pretty big right now. Still,
yeah,
too.
still. Well, I'm maybe one of the top 5 worst artists that ever existed. So I actually made a piece of stuff off of 3D paint and posted it as art on Twitter as a poison pill. And I'm hoping that the AI picks
nice.
it up and chokes on it.
Just get everyone together and put out these poison pills.
That's right.
Just 1 month of everyone just posting garbage.
Yeah, oh yes.
Just nothing that anything makes sense.
Yep.
And then don't post your art at all ever again
Oh yeah.
until all this gets cleared out.
Yep.
That would work. That's a good idea.
That would be pretty. And who knows? Somebody might buy these stuff. I mean, people. You never know people. these days.
Oh, I cruise on Amazon here and there
Yeah.
to see if I can find some good canvases,
Mm-hmm.
and all the canvases are all AI art. You can easily tell it's AI art,
Oh yeah. Yeah. You just.
especially when they're selling it for like $5 to $15.
Oh yeah. Especially if you have like 7 fingers on one hand or something like that, and
Yeah,
you're not looking very close. Either
I
that,
like saving the crazy AI art.
yeah. I mean, either that or you find someone who's a really, really interesting guitarist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would work out pretty good. So, what do you got planned for the channel? I mean, have you got another goal set up for what you want to Central Intelligence Pigeon to do?
So we have a couple we have one long-term goal. Right now, we have our short-term goal is on our anniversary.
Uh-huh.
So like next month,
Right.
we're going to be releasing merch for our stuff finally because we had fans asking about it, especially silly merch. Like a lot of them want like body pillows, especially of Mika, which is hilarious because Mika is just an art doll, like the posable art dolls.
Right.
His character is a white art doll with an Eldritch Abomination inside of it, so he's got some goo on the corners of him, on the edges.
Oh.
And then whenever he talks, his head fully opens and there's like an eyeball with a whole bunch of goo in it. So he's just a weird looking Eldritch Abomination kind of thing, and people really want body pillows of him.
Oh.
It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
We're
that's
getting
coming out
some
next
stuff
month.
set up.
Yeah. And in the meantime, folks can check out what Central Intelligence Pigeon's got going on. We're going to put the links up in the description for this interview. And I got to tell you, Sonia, it's an absolute pleasure to talk with you.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And again, we're gonna start doing an update version of our interview program called Part 2. That starts next month, and we're gonna have our folks back and talk some more about what's going on with them and their channels.
Nice.
And please,
yeah, maybe we can talk about my long-term goals at that point if you like.
Absolutely. Sometimes this show isn't long enough, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, it's all good. You have your own time frame.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, though. Thanks for coming, and we will get you on again soon.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.